everybody. Alright, I'm making this to specifically say it's 2014, January the 12th maybe. I'm at work right now. I work at Enterprise. I'm in Emporia, Virginia. I had to pick up a car or whatnot. Look, it's all fancy and nice. Not really. No disrespect to the Emporians that's watching, just so you know. But today I'd like to ask the question, what's out there? Not just out there in the continent, not just out there in the forest, you know, but out there in the stars, out in space. What could possibly be out there, you know? Like, even just today, you know what I'm saying, I had deja vu, and like deja vu of coming here actually, and picking up the car and like seeing the officer going to the little tire place, you know, all this stuff. Like, all this stuff I have felt like I've vividly seen, felt, and experienced this before. So to me, it's like, if we live in a reality that has, for lack of a better term, you know, just billions and billions of variables, you know what I'm saying? What really does deja vu mean? Like, how can you be so many different variables, so many different like scenarios, solutions, you know, problems, answers, all this stuff? How is it so many different things, and yet somehow, some way, the human consciousness is still able to have deja vu, to still recollect something that possibly hasn't happened yet? You know what I'm saying? And it's not like it's soothsaying or anything like that, to me in my eyes, but it still has to be something. I used to think that, you know, the mind just tries to cope with so many different variables, and then when you dream, you know, it plays out random scenarios that either has occurred in your mind that you've thought about, or things that's actually happened in the world, or, you know, just the possibilities that the subconscious knew about, or that you knew about, but you acknowledged it or didn't acknowledge it, but yet somehow, some way, like, your mind still wanted to play that out. So to me, I feel like it's quite legit to be able to have deja vu. But back to the original question, which was, what's out there? You know, like, man, what I wouldn't give to be able to see the stars, you know, like see the various planets that exist, see how they function, see how things are, you know what I'm saying? Because our reality might not be another planet's reality, and as hard as it is to believe such a thing, I mean, I still feel like, you know, the easy way out is to say, yeah, there's life out there, there's unknown out there. But to me, it's like, of course there's life and unknownness out there, but it might just be the whole sandbox effect. It's like anything could be out there. So that means everything's possible. That means there is no impossibility. It can't exist, because it's too much room for an impossible scenario, I guess you could say. But of course, you know, there's things that can't happen quite yet, or can't happen at this moment, but we feel that it's a certainty, and we feel that, you know, it's an absolute situation sometimes, and then usually years down the road we find out something different, or, you know, something that was just so simple and we just didn't realize it, or we weren't awake to it at the moment. But anyway, it's just like, it would blow my mind for me to be able to go out into the universe, you know, and find something that has no relevance towards our Earth whatsoever, but yet somehow, some way, it still functions like how Earth does. You know what I mean? Like, it's actually life, it's intelligence, it's things moving around, but in no way, shape, or form is it how we perceive things. There's no humans, there's no like consciousness of how we perceive consciousness or intelligence. It's its own thing. Now that would be crazy. That would blow my mind. And I'm pretty sure it's out there, because I mean, it's still things that we're just now acknowledging and realizing, and it's like we don't have an eyesight or a scope of everything. We just have a scope of what we know. And if we only have a scope of what we know, that pretty much it impairs our, you know, our visions, our looks towards space, I guess you could say. But I mean, that doesn't mean that we're not open-minded to new things. It just means that we're looking, we don't know what we're looking at, we don't know where to look at, and we don't know what happens when we look at it. And that's the big factor there. Because I mean, to me, I feel like if quantum physics, even though it's still posed as a theory, I could be wrong, somebody correct me, but it's still posed as a theory. But if this theory were true, then that would mean that, you know, things on a, what was it, subatomic level or something like that, can't have a fixed location until it's like gazed upon. So that would mean that everything in this world would still have to coexist within these laws. Even though we're bigger, it's just, it correlates in a different way for us. So what if possibly, maybe, these things react or present itself a certain way towards us when we actually look out in the stars? But to me, the twist of quantum physics, to me, at that point, to me is more like, all right, say for instance, you have three people could all look at the same thing and still perceive it just a little bit differently. We could still see the same core of things. We don't really see it exactly how the other person sees it. So if we see a color, it might be a little darker, a little bit brighter than how somebody else would perceive it. Or if we hear a sound, we'll think it sounds one way when it could sound another way. So what I'm getting at is, what if quantum physics on a bigger scale is just, it still plays out the same. It's just, since it's of a bigger variety, we can still see it. We see the same thing, but it's not the same thing at the same time. So that would be its undefined form, or its unfixed location, I guess you could say, of all of its particles. And like, this undefinedness is what makes us all perceive things differently when we look at it. Like, that's just my opinion though. It's legit, but it's my opinion. So I mean, I could be just, you know, just talking outside of my neck. I could be completely wrong, but to me, I feel it in my bones that this is at least 95% correct. If quantum physics was real, if this theory was indeed true, then that's how I feel it might correlate to itself. But anyway, I have used up way too much time, so I'm going to go ahead and end this. Rightio. Signing off.